64 years. You know, it was out there in the hills and the rocks and, you know, pretty tough. So it made a living.
Bar Spills is a video series that takes you with us into the rural and small town bars of the Midwest. Together, we'll wander into bars and interview people at random, creating awkward situations and sparking meaningful conversations, often at the same time. So come along as we head out from our home base of Minneapolis, driving on back roads in search of bars with character and the characters in them.
During this outing, my dad and I decided to head northwest from Minneapolis for about 2.5 hours until we reached Todd County, Minnesota. We chose this area because it has a long history of being one of the poorest counties in the state of Minnesota, and we wanted to get a sense of how longtime residents in the area feel about a variety of topics. As of the 2010 census, there were roughly 25,000 people living in Todd County, 97% of them white. Additionally, the median household income in the county is $32,000, and roughly 1 out of every 8 residents are living below the poverty line. But without further ado, let's head into the Double R, the first bar we visited in the town of Gray Eagle, Minnesota.
I forget your name already. Bob. And were you born in Gray Eagle?
Yep.
What do you like most about living here? Is there something that you find most interesting or most enjoyable about living in Gray Eagle?
You know, after leaving out of high school, and I went to college and got drafted into the military after I graduated. I was a medic.
Were you overseas or
No, I was lucky. I didn't have to go to Vietnam. So I ended up back here and did some various things over the years, and I've been going this place for the last 36 years.
Can I ask you guys your names?
I'm Sean. I'm Corey.
Sean and Corey. I just want to start off by asking what's most interesting, or what do you like most about living in Gray Eagle?
It's kind of just a small town thing. I wasn't really not much of a big time city guy, and so I like the small town thing. I work over in Sauk Center now, but this is my hometown. This is where I live and all that stuff.
Do you like living in Gray Eagle, or
Yeah.
do you dislike living in Gray Eagle?
Majority of white people.
Majority what?
Majority of white people.
White people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our owner.
Yeah.
We're not the minority here. It is quiet.
If you had $1 million to invest in this community, what would you spend it on?
Probably some rentable housing, some affordable housing. That always seems to be a problem. I could do that for less than $1 million, but there's other things that could do that would better the community. You know, it's always nice to find some stable employment. We've got one small manufacturing plant, but we have a lot of retail. For a small town, we've got a lot of retail.
You got a good bar and grill right here.
Oh, thank you.
What would you do with $1 million if you could spend it on something in Gray Eagle?
Gray Eagle?
What does Gray Eagle need?
I think we're all sitting good on that. I mean, I know back in 2008, the streets were redone and all that stuff. That was a big improvement. And everything else was, I mean, I like it the way it is.
Okay, last question. If you had a face-to-face meeting with the president, what would you say to him?
Get lost. Don't put that in there.
If you alone had a face-to-face meeting with the president, what would you say? You're Corey.
I'd have to shake his hand, man.
That's Sean.
Sean, I'm sorry. Sean, you first. If you were you alone, what would you say?
I think he's the man.
You tell him
He's
that.
got a big set of fucking balls.
So you'd say, Mr. Trump, you got a
It's about time.
nice set of big
Well,
balls.
I haven't seen him, but, you know, I'm assuming he's got a big set of balls.
Corey,
Yeah.
what would you say to him?
Well, I know for a fact I'd be breathless and I'd be honored to meet him. I'd definitely be honored to meet him. I mean, yes, there's some things I don't like about him, but he knows what to do. He definitely speaks loudly, we'll just put it that way.
And so you would say to him?
Well, either way, I would probably thank him for being my president.
Well, thanks, you guys.
Yep.
We left Grey Eagle and continued north into the heart of Todd County, where we found an interesting looking town called Browerville. We decided to head into the first bar we ran into, called Browerville Liquors, where we found a few people who were happy to talk to us.
All right, we're here talking to
Mitch.
Mitch. Are you from Browerville?
Yep, born and raised.
Born and raised Browerville? I think I've passed through Browerville one time before. I don't know anything about it. What is interesting, or what do you like most about living in Browerville? Tell us about Browerville.
Good tight community. In Conesco's meat market, Steve's. Good food around here.
We're gonna get some of that good food.
You should.
So you have a secret about you. There's something you're not telling us though. What else should we know about Browerville?
Come to the Browerville Liquor Store. Best beer in town.
Right here?
Yeah.
What beer are you drinking? Oh, you're drinking that. Okay. Oh, store. We just sat down with
George
and who?
Mary Jo.
Mary Jo and George.
Yeah.
So are you both from Browerville?
Yeah.
If you had to praise or say what you like about living, what are you proud of? What's distinctive about Browerville?
Well, it's a small town, Minnesota. Any small town, they're all alike. But it's a good small.
They're all alike?
Pretty much so. Yeah. Small town, I think. But I wouldn't trade it for living in the cities because I've been there. But anyhow, yeah, it's a unique little town.
You know what you need to come to? Come to Browerville Days.
To what?
Browerville Days. The weekend between June and July.
Henry, we're coming to Browerville Days. If you were given $1 million to invest in Browerville, where would you spend it? What would you put the money in?
The bar.
He would expand. He would make the bar.
I'd make it double decker, yeah.
Browerville. If someone gave you $1 million to spend here, what would you spend it on?
I would spend it on education. And I would say, hey, youngster, you go to school someplace, become a doctor, dentist, but you've got to come back and work. That's how I'd invest.
You got to come back here to Todd County or Browerville.
Either or.
Yeah.
That's how I'd invest my money.
Okay, last question. If you had a face-to-face meeting with the president, just the two of you alone, what would you say to him? Why? Come on. You can have a sip of your beer and think about it.
All right.
And I'll have a sip of mine. Is this mine? Yeah.
What would I say to him?
You got your...
I would ask him how was Stormy Daniels.
Did you just hear that? Okay, Mitch. Thank you.
No problem,
I'll look for
anytime.
you. If you had a face-to-face meeting with the president, what would you say? You first married Joe.
I would say good job.
Mainly for...
Tax cuts. Doing what he said.
I think he should kick some more ass.
You catch that, Henry? One more time. That
Tell
piece.
him to kick ass. Keep going. Actually, if he wants a lot of trouble, he should marry Hillary, then he can fight day and night.
Should I be laughing at it? I'm not even sure. I don't know if I get the joke yet.
As we left Browerville, the sun was beginning to set, so we decided to stop by one more bar and call it a day. Luckily, we stumbled across the quaint town of Bertram, just a couple miles away from Browerville, where we ventured into a nice place called the Saloon. There were only 2 people at the bar, and only one would agree to speak with us. His name was Steve.
Yeah, we're in Bertram, and we met Steve, and we're just going to ask Steve a couple of questions. So you're on the edge of Bertram.
Yeah. About 3 miles out.
Tell us something we ought to know about Bertram. Is it do you like living here? Do you dislike it? What should we know about Bertram? What do you like about living here?
Well, it's good living in Bertram. A lot of good people around here. They're helpful. You can help a hand, usually somebody will help you. I've been here 64 years.
Were you born here?
Yeah. Out of the farm I got out to, born and raised out to.
Just outside of
3
Bertram.
miles out. You know, it was out there in the hills and the rocks, and you know, pretty tough. So it made a living.
Well, what does if you had $1 million to spend to invest in Bertram, what would you spend it on? What does Bertram need?
It needs a lot of things. There's not much here anymore. No gas station, no grocery store.
Where do you buy your groceries? How far do you have to go?
about 5 miles.
Go into Gray Eagle.
Gray Eagle or Swanville or Upsell are pretty much all the same distance.
I got to get out of the Twin Cities every now and then.
I don't blame you.
Get the heck out. Anyway, Steve, thanks for asking our questions.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Bar Spills. If you'd like to be notified when we come out with new episodes, click that big red subscribe button below this video. Additionally, we'll now be incorporating one question from our viewers in each episode, so let us know in the comments what you'd like us to ask. Other than that, we'll see you next time.